Hi everybody, welcome back to All Up in Your Business. I'm attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Colorado, and today we're going to talk about superheroes. Before we get into our superhero talk, make sure you've subscribed if you haven't already done so, and check the description for additional information and resources. And while I am a lawyer, I am not your lawyer. This video is for fun and learning only and is not a substitute for actual legal advice. If you need help with a legal issue, you should consult with a lawyer. So I was feeling a little, let's say under the weather yesterday. And so I decided it would be a good opportunity to binge watch She Hulk, Attorney at Law on Disney+. Now, I'm not a huge Marvel person. I don't get really into these superhero shows or movies. And really, I'm not big into like lawyer shows either. But I thought, okay, I can, a strong female lawyer lead in a fun, entertaining half-an-hour show, that is something I can get behind. So there I am, sitting on my couch, being a lazy, gross piece of shit, when all of a sudden we get into episode 5. And much to my surprise, guess what episode 5 is about? Trademarks. So we're gonna break down the trademark issues in that episode of She Hulk and kind of talk about how these things would actually play out in real life. Oof, okay, I guess I should give a little kind of spoiler alert. I'm not really gonna talk about like details of the show. I'm not really giving any major plot spoilers or anything, but I know the enthusiasts, the Marvel and superhero enthusiasts, take this stuff pretty seriously. So if you haven't seen the show, if you absolutely don't want to know a thing about it, then maybe click away, watch one of my other trademark videos. But okay, outside of that, minor spoiler alert, I guess. And actually, before we get into episode 5, I need to give a quick little shout out to episode 4 as well, because it had to do with intellectual property too, and non-disclosures, non-competes, and being that I am a, how did the late great Jenna Marbles, I'm just kidding, Jenna Marbles, she's not dead, but man, do we miss her. Being that I am a 36-year-old lady, being a 32-year-old lady, I found the being single and dating in your 30s content to be very relatable in episode 4 as well. But the end of episode 4 really is where this trademark issue and where my commentary and criticism thereof really begins. At the end of the episode, at the end of episode 4, we see She Hulk, or Jennifer Walters, that's her real name. She Hulk's her superhero name, but we see Jennifer being served court paperwork because another character, Titania, is suing her over use of the She Hulk trademark. And as far as accuracy and realism goes, we are not starting off too great, because it's really weird to use the little TM subscript symbol in your business name in a caption on a court document like this. So that part's odd to start. So not off to a great start, but let's get into episode 5 and let's really talk about what's going on here. What's the dispute? This other character, Titania, she started a cosmetics kind of skincare line under the brand name She Hulk. And since Titania trademarked the name first, she's suing Jennifer Walters over her use of the She Hulk trademark, or the She Hulk name. A few minutes into the episode 5, we see Jennifer chatting with another character whose name I can't remember. And this character asks, why would you let her do that? Meaning, why would you let Titania trademark your name? And Jennifer responds, I didn't let her do that.
Has trademarked my name.
Well, that's dumb. Why would you let her do that?
I didn't let her, Chet.
Huh. You know, Jen, the way trademark works is whoever gets there first gets it, you know? So if you would have done yours first, then she wouldn't have been able to done that, you know?
Wrong, 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 wrong. There are a few things wrong here. First of all, if you have watched any of my other trademark videos, you likely know that in the United States, trademark rights are based off of use, not registration of the trademark. It's incorrect to say whoever does it first gets it. That's not how it works. It's really whoever uses it first gets it. It doesn't really matter if Titania trademarked the name first, if Jennifer was actually the one using it first. And let's not gloss over this whole "I didn't let her do it" thing. Under federal law, if a trademark contains the name of a living individual, you can't register that trademark without that person's consent. And this often applies to nicknames or pseudonyms as well. So theoretically, in this made-up situation, Titania would most likely need Jennifer's consent to use the She Hulk name in her trademark registration. And by this point in the show, people already know who She Hulk is. They already know that Jennifer is She Hulk. They talked about her in the news. She's a public figure and I presume has gained some kind of notoriety or fame. People know who she is. And even if they don't have a trademark registration, you can't just use someone's name or a nickname or a pseudonym in your trademarks, especially if they're a public figure or a famous person. Trademark stuff aside, you can't just pick a famous person's name and use it in your trademark and think that nothing's gonna happen from it. That's just not how it works. Trademark laws and privacy laws and a lot of laws prevent you from doing that kind of thing. And then later in the episode, we see Jennifer talking with her boss. Her boss has just passed a big She Hulk billboard and is asking Jennifer, like, what's with this whole She Hulk thing? And suggests that this issue may risk her job there or put her career at risk as well.
Why did I pass a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard today advertising a She Hulk booty boost smoothie?
Oh, so that's not actually me. So the name She Hulk was never really mine officially. Everyone in the media just started calling me that.
So aside from the obvious holes in Titania's case, we have evidence of actual confusion among the two trademarks and even potential damages for, like, you know, this false association or use of her name and likeness, damaging her career, damaging her profitability in the future. One thing that really drives me crazy about this episode, there's a part where Jennifer is talking with her lawyer about the trademark issue. And her lawyer asks, well, why didn't you just trademark your pseudonym first?
Why didn't you trademark your own pseudonym? I never even thought about it. You know, why would I? Did Doctor Strange have to trademark his name? Did Thor? You chose two examples of people who use their real names.
We would never ask that. We would never ask that. But then eventually they kind of seem to get it right. And Jennifer's lawyer says, we need to establish that you were using this name. You were using the She Hulk name first. That kind of, aside from this claim, would probably just get dismissed or thrown out or a summary judgment in the first place. Yes, it does. We need to focus on making sure Jennifer used this name first. That part's correct. How they went about doing it is a little strange. I don't think that would actually happen. So I told you about all the relatable dating in your 30s content in this episode and the one previously. Part of that is we see Jennifer, she sets up a dating profile for She Hulk. And she goes out on all of these dates with a bunch of different guys as She Hulk. And so their evidence that she was using the name first is they get all these guys to come in and testify saying that, yeah, she was She Hulk. I went out with her because she was She Hulk. I refer to her as She Hulk. We knew her as She Hulk, and that's what establishes that she was using the name first. And Titania's case gets thrown out and all of that. But that part's dumb. We wouldn't use those people's testimony. If anything, we'd use like the news clips and the publications all referring to her as She Hulk and making it clear that she's a public figure and recognizable by that name. You know, overall, was episode 5 of She Hulk Attorney at Law a realistic and accurate depiction of how trademarks and trademark law work? No, it wasn't. But was it still fun and entertaining and a joy to watch? Sure. If you want my kind of general review of the show outside of my lawyer hat review, I found it to be nice. It's an easy watch, family friendly, entertaining, funny, good characters. You know, if you need to waste a Sunday, I recommend it. That's all for this episode, folks. If you learned a thing or two, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so, and check the description for links to additional information and resources. If you want to keep learning about trademarks, more trademark stuff, I've got a lot more trademark videos. Here's a really good one that you can check out. I'll meet you over there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I'll see you next time.